Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Saturday, March 18, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Denver Nuggets vs New York Knicks. New York has been one of the hottest teams in the NBA since the beginning of February, winning and covering the spread in 11 of its last 14 games. The Knicks have also covered the spread in 6 of their last 7 home games, despite struggling at Madison Square Garden earlier in the year. They are facing a Denver team that has been trending in the opposite direction, winning once in its last 5 games and covering once in its last 6 games. New York could get an additional boost if Brunson returns, so I will back the team with momentum in this matchup. Our team pick is New York Knicks to cover. Taking the over in this matchup for a couple of reasons. Both teams have had a good amount of rest leading into this game and have been scoring in bundles as of late. These teams also love to go over when playing each other, having gone over in 9 of their past 13 meetings. In addition, Denver has gone over in 4 of their past 5 games when their opponent scores 100 or more points in their previous game, and has gone over in 4 of their past 6 games on the road against a team with a winning home record. Jalen Brunson is questionable leading into this game, however, this should not impact the Knicks' ability to produce on the offensive end, as players such as Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett have stepped up in his absence. The Nuggets have also been producing on the offensive end, with players such as Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. scoring in bundles. Both teams rank in the top 5 in terms of adjusted offensive rating, according to dunks and threes, making me all the more confident in taking the over for this matchup. Our total pick is over. Orlando Magic vs Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are primed for a big win in this one and won't have any issues making it look easy at home. They've won 4 in a row coming into this one, and while they get to continue to build off of being at home, the Magic have to continue their cross-country road trip, which has continued to take its toll on this group. Beyond that, the Magic have a pair of injuries that have continued to hurt them on the defensive end, while they simply lack the elite top-end scoring to match Leonard and George for the Clippers. Additionally, according to Covers.com, the Clippers are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 Saturday games and are 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games against a team with a losing straight-up record. Our team pick is Clippers, -8. Although Orlando struggles to score, the total has finished over in each of the Magic's last 6, including each of the first 3 games on its current road trip. The total has also finished over in 4 of the last 5 that Orlando has played against the team from the Western Conference. LA shoots very well at 47.3% overall and 37.8% from three-point land, which are 17th and 5th respectively. Our total pick is over. Philadelphia 76ers vs Indiana Pacers. The Philadelphia 76ers are playing the second night of a back-to-back on the road, and that is always a tall order. Normally, this would be a spot where you could see Indiana pulling off the upset. But the way the Sixers are playing right now, it doesn't really wear when they play. The Sixers and Embiid are on a mission, and they can't afford to lose if they want to catch the Celtics for second place in the conference. Consider this, the 76ers are 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games, playing on 0 days rest. Meanwhile, the Pacers are 3-10 ATS in their last 13 games, playing on 1 day's rest. Take the Sixers here to cover. Our team pick is Philadelphia -6 points. Even though Philadelphia is on a back-to-back, I like the over in this matchup. The 76ers are 38-29-1 in hitting the over this season, while Indiana is 35-34-1. In the 3 games as well, the games are averaging 257 ppg, as these teams get into shootouts when they play. As well, Indiana is playing at a pace of 102.8, which ranks 9th, while their defensive efficiency ranks 25th. Philadelphia, meanwhile, plays at a pace of 99.4, which does rank 26th, but they make the most of their possessions, as the 76ers rank 3rd in offensive efficiency. Finally, in Philly's last 10 games, the games are averaging 232.6 ppg, while Indiana's last 10 games are averaging 247.2 ppg. Take the over. Minnesota Timberwolves vs Toronto Raptors. With Minnesota on a back-to-back and could be without Gobert along with Towns, I like Toronto to win and cover the spread here. The Raptors had one of their best games of the season on Thursday night against OKC as Toronto shot the ball well while also using their patented defense to help win the game. The Raptors are currently 17-11 against the spread as a home favorite, while as a road underdog, the Timberwolves are 10-11 at TS. Although Minnesota has had some success on no rest, Toronto's defense is one of the best in the league and really should be able to slow down this T-Wolves offense. As well, Minnesota's injuries and the back-to-back will really hinder the offense, which is why I like Toronto here. Take the Raptors to cover. The under is also the way to go with the game, as Toronto's defense should really be able to shut Minnesota down, given their injuries and being on the back-to-back. The Raptors are currently 30-40 in hitting the under, but Toronto plays at a pace of 99, which ranks 27th as they should slow down this game, while Minnesota plays at a pace of 103.6, which ranks 5th on the back-to-back, they should also play slower. These two teams are known for hitting the over, but on the back-to-back and the key injuries, I do think this line is set a few many points too high. As well, Toronto usually struggles to shoot the ball, which wasn't the case against OKC, so I do expect a mean reversion here. Take the under. Miami Heat vs Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls blew a big first-half lead and fell on a buzzer beater by De'Aaron Fox as they lost 117-114 to the Sacramento Kings. DeMar DeRozan led Chicago with 33 points, but they let a huge game slip away. They need every game they can get at this juncture of the season fighting for their playoff lives. The Bulls fell a half game behind 10th place Washington and the final playoff spot in the East. Alex Caruso sat out with a non-COVID illness. Second-year Ayo Dosunmu replaced him in the starting lineup and scored only 3 points over 27 minutes. Caruso will be back, and so will Chicago's defensive intensity. Dosunmu had a very poor showing last time out, and Caruso will provide a steadying hand. This will be a tight game, but go with the home team here. Take Chicago plus 3 points. Miami is 28th in pace of play entering this critical Eastern Conference showdown with the Bulls. The Heat moved within 2 games of Brooklyn for the number 6 spot in the Eastern Conference after they hammered the Memphis Grizzlies by 19 points Wednesday night. I do not expect this to be a high-scoring game considering the circumstances and how familiar these clubs are with one another. Expect a tightly played defensive game. The Heat and Bulls are bottom 10 with respect to offensive rating, so neither team will dazzle you on the offensive end. Take the under in this game with confidence. Sacramento Kings vs Washington Wizards. I am going to ride with the Sacramento Kings, and I am going to lay the points, -3, on the road. The Wizards aren't good enough defensively to consistently slow the Kings down, as they won't get enough stops to cover the spread. According to dunksandthrees.com, the Wizards only have the 20th lowest adjusted defensive rating, and they are surrendering the 14th most points per game. Sacramento is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, as they are scoring the most points per game, and they have the highest adjusted offensive rating. They will efficiently score throughout this game and cover this spread. Sacramento is also 8-2 in their last 10 games played, as they are playing great basketball right now. They are the hotter team and they will be ready for this matchup on the road. Now Washington won't have the same offensive success, as they are only averaging the 21st most points per game, and they've struggled to shoot from the outside. Sacramento will defend the paint and do everything they can to keep the Wizards off the scoreboard. Pick the Sacramento Kings and lay the points, -3, on the road. The Kings are 9th in the NBA in pace of play entering this interconference meeting with Washington. They have been the most efficient team on the offensive end this year, leading the NBA in offensive rating. They are 2nd in effective field goal percentage and are on track to make the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. Defensively, they are 25th, but as long as they are playing games like a track meet and outsourcing teams, they are fine with a defensive showing. I expect this to be a high-scoring game, even with Washington on the second leg of a back-to-back. It is a very important game for them, so look for them to play at a more frenetic pace. Take the over. Golden State Warriors vs Memphis Grizzlies. The Warriors are playing to avoid play-in ramifications, and it's a tight spread between the 5th to 7th in the West. Not to mention the chippy sentiment that has been bubbling up between these teams, which left the Warriors with a bitter taste the last time they laced up against Memphis. Golden State will be locked in and should take supreme advantage of Memphis's inability to slow the outside shot and disrupt the passing lanes. Take the Golden State plus 3 points. These teams both sit in the top 10 of the league in terms of possessions per game, and the Warriors have played their fastest ball on the road. Golden State has had turnover issues, and the Grizzlies' transition offense should be able to capitalize here. Likewise, we have seen the Grizzlies continually take close proximity shots and crash the offensive glass with vigor. The Grizzlies allow a very high volume of perimeter shooting, and the Warriors have had trouble defending the paint, where the Grizzlies have thrived. The play is the over, which is 38-13 in the Warriors' last 51 against a team with a winning home record. Take over 236.5 points. Boston Celtics vs Utah Jazz. I'm of the belief that Utah will find a way to stay within this number and potentially get the outright win. They've got an offense that still ranks 7th in offensive efficiency this year, 1.125, and the Jazz have actually been 4th in that category over their last 3 games, 1.183, despite barely playing basketball this week. There is a bit of a fear that all that time off was a bad thing for Utah, but with how negative a scheduling spot this is for the Celtics' 3rd in 4 nights, and a back-to-back, I'll live with that risk of Utah potentially being a little rusty. Sure, the Celtics are 8-2 at TS this year when playing the second game of a back-to-back, but their current form suggests that a run like that is not going to last much longer. Despite all their great numbers this year, Boston still only got an average margin of victory of 1.9 game on the road this year. Just far too good of a spot for me to pass up backing the home team. Our team pick is Utah ATS. Boston is 6-3-1-0 this year when playing without rest, sporting a total plus of plus 5.6, and Utah is 12-7-0 this year, with a total plus of plus 6.2 in those games. That would suggest looking towards going over this number, and seeing this Jazz team on a 5-0-1-0 run their last 6 only helps that cause. It's a cause I'm choosing to support for this game, as Boston will look to rely on their offense that ranks 3rd in the league in offensive efficiency. That's the type of game Utah wants to play these days, and with the Jazz's own offense executing at a high level lately, and them being the ones with the much fresher legs, employing a strategy where they try to run Boston out of the gym does make tactical sense. Utah also owns a 16-9-1-0 record against teams from the Eastern Conference this year as well, adding more ammunition to this total, ultimately sailing over the number. Our total pick is over.